This computer. Okay, it looks like we are recording. All right, great, guys. Let's see here. Let's open up with Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin right now at 42.47. So we had the break here where we were discussing yesterday, and we hit the 200 EMA. We came back down and we retraced. If I'm not mistaken, we retraced to 618 here. We had another breakout from that retrace, and it actually got a little bit higher than the previous swing high, but it was not still able to do much damage. It quickly started coming back down, and we fell again below the 200 EMA. And we've been fighting pretty much the 200 EMA, and now we have fallen underneath the 9 EMA here on the 1 hour time frame. So now we're going to look for the 50 EMA as support. We've got this green line here as prior support and resistance. The MACD does have a bearish downtick. It did have a bearish crossover here not too long ago. So that's how we're looking there. You know what, guys? Can you guys see my screen? Am the screen share on? Somebody can type on the Zoom chat. Yes, okay, good, thank you. So that's what we're looking at right now. We have a lot of bearish volume in here, but we're hoping the RSI does have a slight uptick, but the MACD is not looking very good at the moment. So hopefully if the MACD can start, if we get some bull volume, we get some green candles coming in here, this will quickly start turning neutral. And when this starts turning bullish, then I'll be a little bit more excited rather than seeing the RSI bullish. Because remember, the RSI just shows the current condition of the candle. So if the candle is green, that shows green. If the candle is red, it's going to have a downtick or neutral if they're both coming in at the same time, the bulls and the bears. But the MACD shows the overall momentum of the market. And right now you can see it's a little bit bearish. So what I don't want to see is this double top forming out here. So we had a double top here when it hit the previous swing high. Then we were not able, we got a little bit higher than the previous swing high. So we had a good chance of coming down. Now here we've been able to fight that, but it still doesn't mean that we still can go further down. So I really don't want to see that playing out. Let's look at the higher time frame, give us a little bit better view. So you can really see the double top here on the higher time frames, on the 4 hour time frames. And the MACD here, again, does not look very good. It's on neutral, but if we don't pick up the bull volume, this can easily go bearish. And on the 4 hour time frame, these indicators, just like the EMAs, are very powerful on the 4 hour time frames. The higher the time frames, the same thing with the MACD. The higher the time frame, the more powerful it is. So we definitely don't want to see a fall of this MACD, because that would signify a pretty significant drop down to at least the support, which is at about $4,100. And hopefully, if that doesn't catch it, hopefully that catches it. But if it doesn't catch it, then we'll probably see a completion of this move here, of this double top move, and which will bring us below the $4,000 range. ETH is currently sitting at $117. Very similar to Bitcoin, we had a move up to the 200 EMA. We were rejected. We came down to the 50. We were able to try one more time. We were rejected again near the 200 EMA. Came back down, and we're currently sitting at 50 at the 50 EMA. However, we did fall below the 9, and we're having a bearish crossover between the 9 and the 30. So now we're losing the support of the 50. That's putting a lot of pressure downward. If we continue in this route, we're now going to have a bearish crossover between the 9 and the 50. If that happens, this price will come all the way down to the 100 MA at about $114. So let's hope that we can get enough positive bull volume to come in here and turn this around. We have had a really good move here, so we're probably just going through a cool down right now. So here's a higher time frame to give you a little bit better perspective. So we had a really hard move here. We haven't really corrected from this large move. If we look here at the 4-hour time frame and we put a fib on it, we only barely crossed the 382. We haven't even hit the 0.5 fib level yet. So I do anticipate probably going a little bit lower here, and we are losing the 9 EMA on the 4-hour. So again, that's very powerful EMA. So this can very well push this price action down here to the 50 and maybe even to the 618. Now, if you look over here to the left, we do have some support resistance right at 618. So we can see here where we had some resistance, some support, some resistance and support. So we'll see if we can come back down, if we can get a nice retrace to 618. Hopefully we can see a continuation back up. LTC at the moment has been sitting above the 200 EMA. Now this is one that I posted yesterday. We talked about it on the Zoom, and then I followed up with the chart. And if you go to chart updates, and what I was trying to show you guys is we were talking about this section here. So let me take a little bit of time to kind of go over this, because this is a really important lesson. This goes back to my EMA modules. By the way, guys, if you guys seen my EMA modules, please give me some feedback. I've never done training modules before, so I don't know if I have to work on certain things, if I need to correct something. So please let me know. I'm not going to take offense to it. I need to know if I'm gonna continue moving forward with these modules, and you guys are my judge and jury. I need to know if I'm doing a good job, if I'm not doing a good job, if I'm not explaining it in a way that you guys can understand. Then moving forward, I'm not going to know what to correct, and it doesn't benefit anybody. So please let me know if you understand them, if they're clear, or if you need me to work on something. I do appreciate the feedback, because like I said, I'm new to this. I've never done modules before. So going back to what we're talking about, the power of the 200 EMA, you can see here that we were underneath the 200 EMA and we're really trying to break through. And I mentioned that when we broke through here, we should see the probability of seeing the 200 EMA work as support was really high. I don't know if you guys remember that, and if you look at the previous Zoom session, you guys can refresh your memory on that. And generally, that's how it works. When you have a resistance, just like a support line, when you have a strong resistance, it usually becomes strong support. And look what happened here, guys. See how well we've been holding above the 200 EMA? Just the same difficulty that we had breaking through it, we're now having the great response of the support. So hopefully LTC can continue to hold this 200 EMA. However, it has touched and taken off a couple of times already here, but has not really moved too much higher. So if this continues to be tested, I'm afraid that it's going to get weaker and weaker, and we might fall down into the 100 EMA range, which would bring us at about 80 cents less than what the current price is, which would be about $33.08. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a line here, and I'm going to put myself a reminder. And in case it does come down here, I'll post this chart and on the alt updates, just so we can kind of continue this lesson on the importance of the EMA support and resistance. And again, I want you guys to learn this, and I want you guys to notice the patterns, because these are very, very important patterns to recognize, because they do happen a lot. And this gives you the confidence to know that if you're inside of a trade and it breaks through it, it's a pretty good significant break. You want to go ahead and when you start seeing the retracement, you want to pull some profit. And you know that if you see a pattern like this, more than likely you're going to find support. So if you wanted to continue to play this, it allows you to find an entry here at the 200 in anticipation for another move up. And look at here, we had another move up after the support was validated. So it's just things like that I want you guys to keep in mind. The next one here, we have Bitcoin Cash ABC. So it hasn't really done much for the past few days. It had a nice run up from here. We topped off at $200, but since then we haven't done much to it. It's been falling underneath the 9 EMA since earlier this morning. And we've just been on a downtrend here. There's really nothing indicating that. Actually, you know what? Excuse me. This is a 30-minute time frame. Let me look at the 1 hour. 1 hour looks very similar to. We've been down here below the 9 EMA, and we have almost no volume. Look at down here, just zero volume. So we need to find some volume. The next support area on here is going to be right in this area here. So, and if you're wondering why I chose that, I'm looking for areas like this, all these areas of confirmation, of touching. Look how many times it touched this area here. So for me, this is a good area of support. Since I no longer have an EMA to rely on below here, I am now going to use the support lines. That's typically how I do my TA. I look for EMAs first because I find that EMAs are more powerful than prior resistance personally. And if there is no support on EMAs like you see here, then I rely on the support and resistance lines like I do here. So again, I'm going to put a line here. I'm going to, excuse me, not a line, I'm going to put an alert right here. And what that's going to do is going to alert me, and I'm going to look at this when my alert goes off on my phone, and I'm going to follow up with you guys just so we can continue. Again, I'm trying to make the TA a little bit more educational, so you guys know what I'm looking for, and you guys can start identifying what I'm looking for, and you guys can start identifying it for yourselves. So when this goes off here, I will take a screenshot and I will post it, and we will see how well this line works as support. The next one we have here is Bitcoin Cash SV. Let me get some indicators in here. All right, so we have the same scenario here with Bitcoin SV. We fell below the 200 to the 200 and the 9. We have a bearish crossover here. So I'm going to anticipate an old resistance to work as, old support to work as new support. So option H is going to give me that line. So again, I'm looking at these areas here. I'm looking at this area here. Look how well this worked out here for support. So we have a lot of confirmation on this line for support. So I'm looking for the next stop on SV is going to be right about $89 if we don't get a push up anytime soon. And the market doesn't look like it's going to be going, it's going to be changing directions. It looks like it's been cooling. It's going to start cooling down from the past, day or two that we had some nice bullish moves. So, and that's normal. So it's nothing that I'm too worried about. Now I'm just, I'm wanting to see the supports, these old supports really kick in and do their job and hopefully hold some of this price action. And then we start seeing some sideways consolidation. We have the next one is XLM. XLM, look how well this 200 EMA worked out as our target. If you guys are playing this and you wanted a target, look how well the 200 EMA here twice hit. Now, unfortunately, we have a double top here, and it looks like it's playing out that double top. To complete the double top, we have to hit 15 cents to pretty much complete that double top. Now, we do have a support of the 50 EMA, and you can see here, if you look to the left, how well that 50 worked as resistance, support. So I'm curious to see if we can find the support there. I'm going to put 2 alerts on here, and I'm going to put an alert on the 50 because I'm pretty sure we're going to head down here, and I want to see how well this works as a support like it did in the past. And then I'm going to put another alert down here in case we do lose the 50. More than likely, we're going to see the old support catch the price action. So those are things that you guys need to look at as well. ADA, again, we are losing the support of the 9 EMA. We caught it on the 30, but we're probably going to continue to go down if we lose the 30 down to the 50. And you can see here how well the 50 has been working as support here, in this area, and more than likely it'll work as support on here as well. Let's look at NEO. NEO, it's been battling with the 200 EMA for a couple of days now. As you can see here, it has not been able to really successfully close above. So here we actually closed the candle here. We opened a bearish candle but quickly dropped below, and then the next candle opened up here, just continue to keep the price action below the 200 EMA. It's currently sitting on the 30 EMA as support. So we definitely want to get above that 9 again, and if not, we're going down to the 50 EMA, which would put NEO right at about $8.10. The RSI and the MACD, they're in good positions, but we don't have enough volume in here coming in. And like I mentioned before, the market right now seems to be going through a cool-off period, so I don't see much happening. Right now, the only thing we can do is rely on these EMAs or prior support lines to catch the price action to keep it from dropping any further down. The XRP fell below the 9 as well, has very, very little volume, and has not been able to break the 200 EMA for quite some time. If you look left, you can really see how far the EMA is from the price action. But here, as the EMA came down and as a price action came up, now we're getting very close. Now it's going to get interesting, guys. So at this point, if we can get some bullish movement, and we could now have a very good chance of breaking through this 200 EMA. Because like I mentioned before, on this move here, look at the distance between the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA. That's a really, really large distance. And this move here was a very bullish move, but it's very, very hard for a move this big to cross so many higher time frame EMAs to actually break the 200. Usually you don't see a break of the 200 EMA this easily. Now that the higher time frames are much closer to the price action, we don't have a lot of barriers to break through. The only barrier left is going to be the 200 EMA. So on this move, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 barriers, 4 very tough barriers that the price action broke through. It just could not have, it just basically lost steam and momentum to break through the 200. But if we can break through the 200, we might be able to see a nice run on XRP. Now, the next target for XRP, if we do crack the 200, would be, I would say, would be this area here would be our next resistance, which would be at about 42 cents. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that works out. ZIL had a really nice run, as you can see here. This was an area, this green line was an area of prior resistance, became support, and now we are looking to it for support. It is now falling in line with the 100 EMA. So now we have 2 areas here for ZIL for really strong support, the 100 and prior support resistance line. So let's see if this price action can be supported, if enough of the bulls come in and start playing this area here, the way they did here and the way they did here. If they can do that one more time, it'll definitely keep the price of ZIL a little bit more bullish and keep it from coming down. Because the problem with moves like this, guys, when you have these big moves, you don't have a lot of prior support and resistance areas. So when you lose areas like this, unfortunately, if you look to the left, there's not too many areas that are going to catch it. So this is one area here, however, that did have 3, 4 confirmation touches. So this might work as an area of support. However, if we were to lose this area of prior support, look at here. This candle didn't leave much room for an established support because it was such a bullish move. So unfortunately, if we lose these 2 areas of support, we're going to be coming down back to there, which was prior resistance, support, resistance, and support here. So that's how I read, and that's how you should look at where to place these support lines and how to calculate where they're going to be falling. You're going to be looking to see what the prior support is. And like I mentioned before, these moves here are great if you're holding and you're selling over here. But if you're looking for an area to catch the price action, if you haven't taken any profit and you fall below something like this, it's very difficult to just land here in the middle of nowhere. Typically, price action does not work that way. Let's look at TRX. So TRX right now has had a nice move, break above the 200 EMA, and has been able to hold the price action above the 200 EMA, which is this is a really bullish move for TRX. Because remember here, there is not a lot of area of resistance that the 200 EMA posed on this price action. So typically, the probability of holding the price action above the 200 EMA was very unlikely. But again, with TA, nothing is 100%. So as you can see here, this move and being able to sustain the price above the 200 EMA for this long is very bullish, being that it did not have an area of strong resistance like we saw with Litecoin. So this is looking really good. And not only that, but now that the price action has been able to sustain the price above the 200, now we're having these other EMAs cross above the 200. Again, that's very bullish, because remember, if we rely on these EMAs as support, and we know that the 200 EMA is typically a very strong resistance, we don't want to fall back down below the 200 EMA. We want to stay as high as possible. But in order to do that, if we don't see volume and we don't have any support, it's very difficult. But now that we have this bullish move, it's now bringing up these EMAs closer and closer to the price action. So now we have the 30 as a new support, then we have the 50 as a new support, and if that gives away, then we have the 200 EMA. But because it did not work as strong resistance, more than likely it will not hold this as strong support. So we want to definitely keep an eye on this, and hopefully the bulls can come in and take some of that price action and get a little bit higher to allow the 100 EMA to also cross bullish on the 200 EMA to act as a backup resistance. Let's look at, let me move this out of my way. Let's look at EOS is by request. EOS is not looking too good, guys. This is pretty much the price action zoomed out. There's nothing here. This was one that was requested to me on the chart request from this morning, and there's nothing here that indicates that we're going to see it stop anytime soon. It just continues to go lower and lower. Look at the higher time frames. We broke this long consolidation here, and we're just on a downtrend right now with really no signs of it turning around anytime soon. One of the things I did want to point out, guys, I want you guys to see something on ZEC. ZEC, guys, I wasn't in it. I was not in ZEC, so I didn't take advantage of the Coinbase listing. So we have the big bullish move here. And these are seems to be getting smaller and smaller. Now, again, you have to think about the market that we're in right now. We're in a very bearish market. We dropped below the $5,000 support that we all thought we were going to see a reversal on. So the market is not overall too bullish. So we're seeing the effects on this Coinbase listing. This has to be the least amount of pump that we've seen from a Coinbase listing. But there's nothing, it's nothing out of the ordinary, guys, because look at where we're at. The other coins were listed. We were above 6,000. We were in a much better position in the market than we are now. So with that's going to reflect how much these coins are going to run. But one of the things that's very interesting, guys, that I want to point out, and I'm not trying to spread FUD, and it's not really FUD because it's pretty much fact. Crypto is unregulated and it's manipulated. We all know that, and this is a clear sign of insider trading. And again, for those who can get away with it and have that knowledge, good for you. Because if I had that knowledge, I would take advantage of it. And I'm sure that every single one of you, no matter how morally correct you think you are, when it comes down to making money, you guys will do the exact same thing as the people who have this insider information. And this is what I want to point out to you guys. Look at this bullish move here. This, guys, is insider trading. This is people who knew that ZEC was going to be listed in Coinbase. Look at these volume here. And now remember, keep in mind that look at the date of these here. A lot of this here was happening during moves where there wasn't much going on with this coin. There was really no news. There was nothing to cause this other than people knowing that ZEC was going to soon be listed, especially in this area here. This move here was out of the blue, and I'm sure you guys remember this. This move here was just out of the blue. This is people who knew that it was going to get listed and decided to take advantage of it. And this here, again, this move here is a very, very strong bullish move for people to start accumulating. And then sure enough, this happened. I mean, look at this is the daily candle, guys. So think about this, guys. This day candle happened. This was the announcement of today. But what do you think caused this pump here? What do you cause all this bullish action here? These are the guys working in Coinbase that have friends and relatives that say, hey, put your money in here. We're going to see a pump. Now, this wick, guys, this wick represents these guys who accumulated here, dumped on the people that bought out of Twitter, that decided to say, hey, this time it's different. This time ZEC is going to do a 200x. And everybody always thinks that their coin, because they have a personal relationship with their coin and they're married to their coin, they think this time it's different. And this goes to show you it is never different. And these people that accumulated here sold you guys their bags. Well, hopefully not you guys, but sold a lot of the Twitter traders their bags. And now they're going to be hoping that the Coinbase Pro listing is going to help them just recover. At this point, these people that bought here are not looking to make profit. Now they're only looking to break even. So this is the kind of stuff that you definitely want to stay away from. If you thought that Zcash was going to be listed, you should have been buying here at these lows, not at these pumps here. So just keep that in mind. Let me look at a couple of more guys that were by request. Let me look at I'm looking at the Discord. I have it on one of my monitors. So I just want to see some of the stuff that was, okay, I think I covered the most popular XRP. Okay, ICEX was one that was repeatedly requested. So let's look at that. ICEX on USDT. So ICEX was sitting at 28 cents, had a really nice move starting pretty much, I think, with this candle here on the 27th. So 2 days ago, it started on a really nice uptrend move. We were able to break the 200 EMA, and then we fell below it, and then we were able to break it, and now we're successfully, look how perfect, I love seeing this, look how perfect these wicks are landing on these EMAs as support. So right now, this is a crucial area to hold on to. If we do not hold on to this, we're going to be coming down to the 50 EMA and then down to the 100 if we can sustain the price above the 200 EMA. DGB. Look here. Okay, so we got DGB here is now looking a little bit like it's running out of steam. Let me look here at so we got here DGB, look at the MACD on this starting to come down. We lost the support of the 9 EMA. We're doing a bearish crossover on the 30 EMA. We're most likely going to land here on the 50. But this move, if the 50 cannot hold this support, we're going to come all the way back down here to 314 Satoshis. So hopefully we could stay above the 50 and then continue to go back up. There's definitely enough room in the RSI at 45 points. However, the MACD is pointing bearish. So if we can find support here and go sideways on the 50, it will cause the MACD here to go neutral. And if we get enough volume coming back in, then we can turn things around and continue back to the upside. Let me look what else. I guess that's pretty much it. Let me look at IOTA. Yeah, IOTA for Mr. Crypto Bing. Let's see here, IOTA, USDT. Ooh, this was terrible. This thing fell below. So this thing filled a couple of gaps and here, but it fell way below. Let's look here. Which I mean, so did everything else. So it's not like it's this just because it's IOTA it fell. It's just this is the whole move when Bitcoin dropped. So that's nothing abnormal about it here. So right now we do have a bullish uptick on the 12-hour time frame on the MACD. So that's a good sign. The RSI I'm not worried about because it's reflecting the current candle, which is red. So it's going to naturally have a downtick. We can see here where we had a really nice J hook. So you see here, here's the body of the J, and then you have a nice hook. So there's a nice bullish move. And we were able to break on this candle here, we were able to break through the 9, closed above the 9, and currently we're still sitting above the 9 EMA. So we can continue that move up after, I'm sure we're gonna see a small correction, guys. Remember, this is a 12-hour time frame. So this indicates that we've been going bullish for the past 2 days. So 48 hours here of going bullish. It's only normal that we're gonna see a retracement. So why don't we put a fib level here on this retracement, and let's get an idea more or less where we might be correcting to. Let's see where it came down to. So we have here, we came down to the 0.50 fib level. I hope this shows you guys why I love using the 0.5 fib level. You can always count on the 5 getting hit. Even if you go to 618, guys, and you're playing a retracement move, if you put your order on 0.50, I want to say that that's hit more than the 618. Because obviously you have to hit here before you hit here, but you don't always see a retrace of 618. But it's very, very rare that you don't see a retrace of the 0.50. And this is why I love using that fib level, because you can always count on it catching. And a lot of times that's enough of a retracement to see a continuation back to the upside. So this had a retrace here. So let's see if we can hold the price action above the 9 EMA for a move back up on IOTA. I think that's going to be pretty much it. I don't see, I covered ZIL, XLM, NEO, DGB, ETH, ZRX. Let me do ZRX since that is on a USDT pair. It gives us the true value and rather than using the Bitcoin pair. Okay, so ZRX, what is it? What are we doing here? Let me clear this. Let me put the indicators. And we had a nice move here. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. So we had a nice move on TRX here. So yeah, I believe the other day, I think I saw this did like 30%. So we had a really nice move here. We are currently playing with the 30 and the 9 EMA as support. But however, we do have a lot of really strong support EMAs here, the 50, the 100, before losing the 200. And that's one that we definitely do not want to lose. But I'm sure we're going to go through a cool down phase since we had such a hard bullish. We had a really nice bullish move here. Let's look at the higher time frames on TRX to help us understand, get a little bit better perspective as far as how long this thing ran. So we got 1, 2 days, 2.5 days, actually more like 2 days of strong bullish movement. So obviously we're going to see a move down and a cool off right here, right there. And let me just double click here. So we've got the support of the 9 and the 30 is pretty much going to land very close to the 0.50 fib level. So hopefully when it comes further down and does a cool off, it could bounce back from these three key areas. We've got the 0.5 fib level that works really, really good on retracements. We have the 9 and the 30 as support as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. As a matter of fact, I'm curious to see how well this is going to work as support. So I'm going to put my alert right here on the 0.5 fib level. By the time the price action comes down, remember, these are indicators that are constantly moving because they're averages. So these will continue to get higher as this price action comes down. It should catch up. And the same thing, as this price action continues to go up, this will cause these EMAs to move up as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. That'll be the last one, guys, that I do. I've got a lot of things going on with my with stuff I have to do around the house, and I got to run some errands. So I'm going to cut the Zoom session for now, and I will be back on tomorrow. I'm going to try to pick a different time every single day so that everyone can participate. So probably we've already done one at 10 o'clock in the morning my time. We've done today's at 1 o'clock. Yesterday's we did one at 4 o'clock. So I think we're probably going to wind up doing one at late at night my time. So maybe 4 hours later than the one we did yesterday. Yesterday we did one at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to vary them. I'm going to change them up, guys, so that everybody can have a chance to participate, because you have to keep in mind that we have members from all over the country. Give me 1 second. I got a raised hand here. Let me take one question before I go. Hey, Yak.
It's Yak.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. I just noticed on one of your charts you had the Williams percentage range indicator. I think it was on the ZIL. I've never seen you use that before. Did I miss anything?
Which one? The Willie?
Willie down. Yeah.
Yeah. I use it. I mean, I have a TradingView, and on TradingView I have my volume profiles. Willie. Basically, a lot of the stuff that you see Mr. Mo use on his charts, I have the same setup on my chart on my TradingView. I just don't use it here on Coinigy, only because I use Coinigy, not because I think it's better than TradingView. I use Coinigy because I think it's easier to read, in my opinion. When I learned TA, I learned on Coinigy, and it seemed to really respond. I was able to understand it a little bit better. There wasn't so much clutter in my opinion. And when I started posting charts on Coinigy, Coinigy charts on Twitter, better said, many of my followers really responded to using Coinigy. They were commenting how my charts were much easier to read than everyone else's, and everyone else was using TradingView. So I found that I can relate to them. I knew what they were talking about because I had the same experience when I was learning TA. So that's why I continue to use Coinigy. I find that for new people, it's much easier to read Coinigy than it is TradingView. But TradingView has a lot of good indicators as well that Coinigy does not have, and two in particular is the TD count and the volume profile. So those I like to use those indicators that are not found on Coinigy, but I do like these. I mean, the Willie is very similar. If you can actually see it, look, it's overlaid right here on the RSI. It's very similar to the RSI. And I find it really interesting. I mean, sometimes there's a slight difference, but for the most part, the RSI and the Willie are the same. And I just use the RSI because I'm used to it. And there's really no point in using two indicators like RSI and Willie, in my opinion, in one chart if they're going to tell you almost the same thing. Because what happens is, like, let me exit this box real quick. If you look at a chart like this and you're new to trading and you're trying to get your bearings around reading a chart, how much more difficult is it to see this and this and this? To me, it becomes a little bit overwhelming. I don't want people to shy away from learning TA. I want to make it as simple as possible. So I think that if you find 2 or 3 indicators that are very simple to follow, it makes it much easier for new people to learn. And because my channel is mainly about education for new folks, that's why I use the indicators that I use. Not only because they've been successful for me, but also they're a great teaching tool for the newcomers. Do you agree with that?
All right, thank you.
Does that seem like your experience, Yak, when you started learning?
It's fine. I'm quite used to what I use already. So
Okay.
I already started with RSI with MACD back in the day. So I saw the not correlation, but I saw the similarity between the Williams one and the RSI. So that was actually my next question is what's the actual difference between those? But I'll do some googling around.
All right, my man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day. HD. Okay. Hi, HD.
Hi, BC. Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that we backtest the sub 3K before we go and try to hit the 5K, or do we go up first and then?
That's really difficult to say. Unfortunately, when you get to markets like this where we're at now, in my opinion, I don't think TA is going to tell us that. I really don't. I think it's going to be up to the market makers on how much they want to bring it up and where they want to keep Bitcoin. Because we can look at indicators all day long at, excuse me, at Bitcoin. So let's do that now. Let me look at Bitcoin on the 1 day real quick. And looking at this right here, it tells me we're going to go up. I mean, we have the MACD on the 1 day about to do a bullish crossover. We have the RSI at 29 points. Nothing here tells me that we're going to be going down. And but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. Now we have the 9 EMA keeping the price action down. Would I like to see a move to 5,000? I would love to, because I have some alts that I got into that are cheap, that I can make a little bit of money if we move up to the 5,000 area. And I also have alts that I bought right when we hit this area here that filled my gaps that I did not anticipate going any lower, that I would like to get out of so that I can then buy back down here and reap some more benefits. Now, I'm not going to sell those alts. Again, I don't need to sell something when I'm looking at the bigger picture, and I'm looking at an 800% or 1,000% increase, and I'm still liquid, and I can continue to purchase. I don't have to sell at a loss. So that's a thing that, and that's just my trading style. Everybody has their own style of trading, and but I typically don't sell at a loss, because I believe that we're going to turn around at some point, and we're going to go higher. So if I anticipate we're going to go higher and my loss is 20, 30%, but yet I'm looking for an 800% target in the long run, it seems foolish to me to sell at a 30% loss when I can just buy it 30% cheaper. And again, that's just my style and my opinion. But to answer your question, I really don't know. I would hate to tell you, oh yeah, we're going to go straight. We're going to continue to 5,000 because the indicators tell me, and the market maker said, you know what, we want to dump it. I have no control over that, and neither does a TA. So it's very hard to say.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, sir. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it here. You guys, thank you very much for being part of the Zoom today. And like I said, tomorrow we'll probably make it later on. Actually, you know what? Let me get Mr. Mo in here. Maybe he has something. I just noticed that he's here with us. Hi, Mr. Mo.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Pretty good. So
I just want to see if you have anything you wanted to add, because I'm going to cut it.
yeah, no, I think we're good. I think
Okay.
it's pretty exciting. I think everyone's in a pretty good space. We got our new channels going. We got ideas flowing in the community. We got some good discussions. Only two pieces of news sticking out right now are actually, let's see. So the U.S. court ruled that Security Exchange Commission wrongly classified ICO as a security.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of what's happening on the Security Exchange Commission side. I thought that was an interesting plot twist. And then inside of our investment banking, you're seeing things like Goldman Sachs sees increased client interest in crypto custody services. So if they're hearing it from clients, that's a very, very good sign right there. They want to make sure that if they are going to be holding these digital assets, that those private keys are secure. So custody services are the way through for a lot of these firms, right?
Yeah.
Those are, I think, the two main things that I'm kind of just reading and looking at right now. And then the last is Fidelity Investments, we know, is ramping up for 2019. And it looks like they're going to have, they're looking to list like many different tokens on there. So I think that's good. Unlike, when an exchange might come, it might launch with, maybe 4 or 5 pairs or something like that. But it looks like they're looking at a bigger picture.
Did you notice? I noticed today, Mr. Mo, that Binance started adding packs on my mobile. Screen was showing packs and some other ones, the USDC pairs.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and if we take a moment just in terms of what Binance is doing, in terms of look how they're beginning to take certain tokens and give them badges. What do you think about that?
Who is?
Binance. Haven't you seen that?
Yes.
Binance?
Yes, I saw that.
Binance right now is beginning to give some of these tokens these golden badges.
Yes, I saw that. I read something like that, or I've been really busy, but I read something like that on Twitter that they're putting those golden badges. I'm not sure what they're.
These are all positive signs. This is all positive signs. Infrastructure's there,
Yeah. To me, one of the most positive sign, guys, and it might not seem too much right now for you guys, but the fact that Binance is already listing the stable coins pairs, that's super, super bullish, guys. Because remember what I've always been saying, that and again, not because I hate Bitcoin. I do not hate Bitcoin, but I think that it's unfair that Bitcoin brings the whole entire crypto market down when it goes down. But the more pairs that we get, the more stable coin pairs that we get, the better it's going to be for our ecosystem as a whole, because now it gives an independent state to the other alts, and hopefully in time, as this space matures, we don't have to rely on Bitcoin's movement. Right now, you guys, as a habit, when we're taking a trade, what's the first thing we look at? We look at Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin's going to go down, it's going to spoil a party for everybody else. But it shouldn't be that way. Not one asset one coin or one project should not spoil it for the rest of us. So it's really, really good news. And I'm really excited to see so many pairs. And now, guys, we have to support those pairs. Remember, if they add those pairs and no one's going to buy a PAX pair or USDC pair or a USDT pair, there's not going to be a need for them. So we definitely want to buy those pairs more than buying Bitcoin pairs. And that's what I'm going to be doing.
Hey, BTC, stop messing up the setups.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because and you also have to think, what is the goal, guys? The goal, even if you're one to accumulate Bitcoin, you have to ask yourself the bigger picture. Like Mr. Mo said, zoom out. Okay, if you want to accumulate more Bitcoin, what's the end game? You have to have an end game. You're not just going to say, I'm going to accumulate Bitcoin because I want to say that I have 1,000 Bitcoin. At the end of the day, you're doing it to cash out, to cash the top, to basically go back to good old fiat. Because at the end of the day, cash will always be king. And I don't care how old or young you guys are in this space, until the day we die, big cash is not going to go away, guys. Crypto is not going to override cash. Cash will always be king. And at the end of the day, that's who pays our bills is cash. So you need to and I understand there's a lot of people that are not zealots, but they prefer Bitcoin, and that's okay. But if you're trying to increase your cash amount, your cash equity, you want to always use what's going to give you the highest ROI. So that's why I continue to use USDT pair. As like I mentioned yesterday, as we get into the bull cycle, you will notice why I don't like using BTC much for pairs, and I will use it in certain instances, and I'll cash out. I might buy into USDT and I might cash out into BTC. And you can do that if many of you guys don't know. But at the end of the day, we're trying to accumulate more money. And you're not going to do that by holding on to anything for a very long time. So hopefully that kind of puts things into perspective as to why I'm so excited on getting these stable coins on different exchanges. I got a raised hand here from CryptoCube. Hey, CryptoCubes, how are you?
Hi, very well. BC, and yourself?
Good, thank you, sir.
I just thought I'd share something. I've been doing a little study right now on the Coinbase listed coins so far. Yeah. And just a few interesting facts. With ZeroX and BAT and now ZEC, there've been 3 pumps. There's been the initial Coinbase Pro announcement, and then there's been exactly 2 days later, there's been the Coinbase Pro full trading, and there's been a little mini pump at that point. It's quite interesting to go back and look on the CoinMarketCap graphs. You can see 3 distinct pumps.
Okay.
So what I've actually done now is, and in each case, ZeroX, BAT, and I'm hoping now ZEC as well, it's exactly 4 days after that mini pump that the final Coinbase listing takes place. And then there's obviously a massive pump and a massive dump. But I actually did quite well on the BAT following this strategy, looking at previous listings and counting the days and then estimating when the different pumps are going to take place. So what I've actually done with ZEC now is I've purchased on the pullback. If you look at ZEC now, okay, you'll see there's been quite a big pullback. So I've actually purchased at that point, planning on riding it up to the little mini pump in 2 days' time. I've worked out that'll be Saturday. And then I'm expecting to sell at that peak, buy again a little bit lower, and then ride it up to the final Coinbase listing next week, which I'm predicting to be Wednesday for US and for Europe, which I just thought that would be interesting, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, definitely let me know how that goes, because I would be curious to see how that goes because of the present state of Bitcoin. So all those other coins that were listed, Bitcoin, in my opinion, wasn't in such a bad shape as it is. Well, not really bad shape. It just, the market sentiment, it's hard for people to understand that this is a great shape for Bitcoin to be in because it's very cheap, but the market sentiment isn't that way, unfortunately. They have the reverse psychology. They see Bitcoin down as being a bad sign, where a lot of us see it as being a good sign. But I would like to see if we get the same amount of pump, like you said, with your studies, as we did with the other previous coins, and see if the sentiment of the market is going to affect those pumps. I'm curious to see that.
Yeah.
So if you can share that with us, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I will do. I'll keep you updated. It's a pity, as you say, it's a pity that it's BTC paired. It would be better, obviously, if it was a USDT pairing as well. But what I'm expecting is, even if I don't profit in sort of fiat terms, I'm expecting an increase in my BTC value. That's what I would expect, but I'm just going to have to see how it goes.
Okay, good. Now remember, if you're paired to BTC, and this is the key, if you're paired to BTC, when you cash out, you obviously, if you have a 20% increase, you're going to have 20% more, and it's going to be in BTC. Now the key is that if Bitcoin goes down, then that value is going to really affect your bottom line. So what you would want to see is when the trade is over and you want to look at
straight
BTC
into
to see how it is. If it looks like
stablecoin.
it's going down, then you want to move out of BTC and move into a stable coin, and then repurchase back BTC at a lower rate. This way you protect your profits. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does. So I'm going in and out of BTC via the stablecoin. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
All right. Cheerio.
All right, guys. Mo, did you want to add something? If not, I got to take off. I got some stuff I got to do.
Let's wrap her up.
Okay, thank you guys very much again for your participation. We're going to continue these every single day, even if it's for a short period of time, whatever the reason. But we're gonna do them every day so we can stay connected to you guys and answer any questions. And I'll do the same thing tomorrow. I'll take requests based on the chart request area, and we'll do the TA based on those requests. And tomorrow I will split it up, and we'll have one portion TA and the other one Q&A. For the Q&A, the questions that I was not able to get to today, I do apologize, but I'll take care of it tomorrow for you guys. Thank you very much, and you guys all have a good day.